first time in the history of the Gambia Printing Publishing Corporation proudly introduces the Biliomatic exercise book printing machine. The machine has the capacity to print more than 20,000 books per hour. Yes, 20,000 books per hour. It also prints magazines, newspapers, calendars, flyers, normal books and all kinds of printed documents plus items at affordable prices. With the Biliomatic printing machine, GPPC can now render high quality and non-size restricted printing service supply across the sub-region. Rush now and partner with GPPC for all your public and private printing service needs. Print with us today and you'd be offered highly professional, reliable and efficient service delivery by our team of experts. The Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation is here to meet all demands and is reliable at all times. For more info, contact us on 437-4493 or 437-4402. GPPC is Gambian and it's yours.
All right.
Honey, did you remind him that the last time he sent the money, it was not enough to buy all the provisions?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell him.
Are you guys talking about money transfer to buy provisions?
Yes.
But don't you know about Baluwo?
Baluwo? What is Baluwo?
Baluwo is a service that your son can use to send provisions directly to you guys from the shop. And you don't have to worry about the exchange rate.
Tell me how Baluwo works.
It's very simple.
Just log on to baluwo.com and shop or download the app on your phone. You can shop on the website or using the app to buy online basic products for your family and friends. With Baluwo, you decide what your money is spent on. Your money, your choice. Buy online products for your family and friends in the Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria or Mali. Baluwo, better than sending money.
Gamcell data, now even better. Enjoy 20% extra data on all Gamcell data bundles. Buy 20 megabytes and get extra 4 megabytes. Buy 50 megabytes and get extra 10 megabytes. Buy 100 megabytes and get extra 20 megabytes. Any amount of Gamcell data bundle you buy, you will receive 20% extra data for free. Dial *302 data amount hash or go to your Yaiborom menu and choose your data bundle now. Gamcell data, it's fast, lasts longer and very reliable. Gamcell Yaiborom.
Planning to have an uninterrupted electricity and water supply from solar energy in the Gambia and beyond? Worry no more, because Solar Enterprise will provide you with the solutions at reasonable cost. We have experienced personnel who can install and advise you about your electricity and water supply with a warranty period. We have good quality solar products from North America and Europe. We provide services and sell products to individuals, organizations, institutions, private offices, communities, and government. These products are solar panels, batteries, charge controllers, inverters, water pump, water heaters, freezers, submersible pumps, and general solar accessories. Visit our stores at 48 Karaba Avenue and Brusubi Highway, or you can call us on 7657 479 980-8483, 340-9400 or 635-990.
And it's indeed my pleasure that we have in our midst the ambassador who will offer us a keynote remarks at this time. So please, may we put our hands together as we invite to the podium the U.S. ambassador to the Gambia.
Mr. Chairman, National Assembly members, Your Excellencies, media representatives, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Good morning, everyone. I am delighted to participate today in the closing event of the Gambia Governance Reform Activity, supported by the U.S. government through the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, and its partners. The United States has been proud to partner with the people of the Gambia as this nation strives to strengthen its democracy in the wake of the historic events of 2016. USAID's Gambia Governance Reform Activity, or GGRA, was specifically designed to help the nation transition from authoritarian rule to a truly free society. Over the past 3 years, the U.S. government, through USAID and its partners, the International Republican Institute, and the International Foundation for Electoral Systems, supported the efforts of Gambian leaders in government and in civil society to move key democratic reforms forward. USAID's GGRA enabled Gambian civil society organizations to fully participate in the constitutional reform process. Despite the rejection of the proposed new constitution, the drafting process was highly inclusive. A wide cross-section of Gambians, including women, people with disabilities, and urban and rural communities, participated. The USAID GGRA activity provided technical assistance, including legal advice, to the National Assembly and civil society organizations on major pieces of legislation that have shown the Gambia's commitment to transparency, accountability, participation, and inclusion. These pieces of legislation include the recently passed 2021 Access to Information Bill, the 2021 Elections Amendment Bill, the 2020 Persons with Disabilities Bill, the 2020 Women's Reservation Bill, and the 2019 Anti-Corruption Bill. The passage of these bills is critical to the Gambia's democratic process. The United States will continue to partner with the Gambia in pursuit of a stronger democratic framework. Through the GGRA activity, the U.S. government also partnered with the Independent Electoral Commission in planning and preparing for the 2021-2022 electoral cycle. USAID supported strong citizen participation in and oversight of both the presidential and legislative elections. USAID's GGRA's voter education campaigns were conducted in all 7 administrative regions through local market outreach, school and university outreach, and multimedia and social media campaigns. Over 300,000 citizens were reached through voter education efforts. These initiatives played a major role in mobilizing and educating voters in what became an extremely high voter turnout in a presidential election here. GGRA trained the largest citizen observation mission in the Gambia's history for presidential polls. Over 460 short-term observers and 50 long-term observers, all Gambian citizens, created an environment for credible elections to take place. This was also the first election where citizen monitors deployed long-term observers to witness the voter registration process, providing greater transparency. USAID and its partners also responded to the needs presented by COVID-19 across development sectors. GGRA supported the development of electoral safety guidelines for coronavirus, which were adopted by the IEC and posted in all 1,554 polling stations on presidential election day. Finally, Through the USAID GGRA program, USAID worked with media organizations to expand the public conversation about governance in the Gambia, a conversation that continues today. GGRA supported over 510 radio programs that raised awareness and gathered citizens' views about the draft constitution, election preparations and reforms, the national budget and audit, and COVID-19 mitigation. The GGRA program worked with print journalists to increase the quantity and quality of reporting on these topics and others, like public spending and natural resource management. Gambians have made tremendous strides in creating a more inclusive, transparent, and accountable society. Today, we look back at the strengths and weaknesses of the GGR activity, not to bemoan the challenges or pat ourselves on the back for the successes, but to plan the way forward. In recent years, we have seen that even countries where democracy has been well established, like the United States, in such countries, we cannot take democracy for granted anywhere in the world. John Lewis, the US civil rights leader and activist and a congressman, said, "Democracy is not a state, it is an act, and we have to take action to preserve it." The people of the Gambia have diligently worked and taken the first steps toward a more free, equal, and just society. The United States government remains committed to working in solidarity with the people of the Gambia as you continue on your journey to democracy. Thank you.
So I would ask you to make another round of applause for Madam Ambassador. Thank you very much, ma'am. We appreciate the kind words. So we would want to take the remarks of the Honorable Chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission of the Gambia. Thank you. Please, let's give him a round of applause as he comes.
Honorable U.S. Ambassador Sharon Cromer, members of the High Table, distinguished members of the International Republican Institute, IRI, members of IFES, members of the United States Agency for International Development, members of civil society organizations, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed my pleasure to be invited to this important forum, which marks the closing of the Gambia Governance Reform Activity (GRL) project, which was a 3-year project in support of governance in the Gambia. However, I wish it was not closed now. I can for sure say that the project positively impacted on the Gambia's electoral process in the ongoing electoral cycle 2021 to 2023. The Commission successfully implemented various major activities during the electoral cycle. This includes the general registration of voters in 2021, presidential election in 2021, and national assembly elections in 2022. Interventions from the GGRA project through IFES contributed to these successes. Such interventions mainly targeted voter education and training of electoral personnel. The importance of these two components in the electoral speaks volume on the relevance and impact of the GGRA project. That is why I said it should not come to a close now. I would have loved it to continue much needed support as the IEC currently preparing for the conduct of local government elections next year. The need for capacity building for electoral staff and voter education cannot be overemphasized. The Commission remains committed to conduct continuous voter education and to build the capacity of its staff. These are key ingredients in the success of any election. Ladies and gentlemen, election is often regarded as a complex process requiring the participation of a multitude of players. Each of the stakeholders need to effectively and positively contribute its own quota in making elections successful. While the Commission is committed to promoting and conducting free and fair elections, stakeholders are also expected to be aware of their roles and responsibilities in the electoral process. The role of development process is also very crucial as the electoral process. I am pleased to report that the IEC, during the conduct of this electoral cycle, has enjoyed very fruitful relationship with IFS and IRI. IFS supported key training initiatives during the conduct of major electoral activities. This has greatly enabled our election personnel to be equipped with vital skills in elections management. IRI has also supported various voter education initiatives over the years. The Commission is indeed grateful for the support from IFS and IRI through USID. I would also like to take this opportunity to express appreciation to other development partners for their support as well, and to the government of the Gambia for helping the Commission fulfill its mandate. I thank you all for your attention. Thank you.
Honorable Chairman, we indeed also appreciate your kind remarks and the appreciation of the contribution that both IFS and IRI has made in enhancing your performance and the performance of your organization. Thank you very much, sir. So it's the turn of the politicians. So indeed, pleasure to have to share with us another remark. The representative of the Deputy Speaker of the Gambian National Assembly, who is the Deputy Majority Leader, Honorable Abdoulaye Sese, to be able to make his remarks. Please, let's give him a round of applause as he approaches.
Your Excellency, the Ambassador of the United States of America in the Gambia, the Chairman, Independent Electoral Commission, Interim Program Director, International Republican Institute, the representative of IFES, UN agency, representatives, Chairman of Tango, members of the civil society and the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you. It gives me the greatest pleasure to be here today representing the Deputy Speaker. Would have loved to be here, but is unavoidably absent as he is on a mission outside the jurisdiction of the Gambia. Would begin by registering our profound appreciation of the National Assembly to the International Republican Institute for their immense support over the years, and USAID and the United States Embassy in the Gambia for making available the required funding for the Gambia governance reform activity. It goes without saying that this support has indeed made an impact in our governance infrastructure. Key among the areas are in the legislative strengthening program. There has been a partnership initiated by International Republican Institute between the United States Congress, House of Democracy, a partnership, and the National Assembly led to a congressional delegation in 2019 and follow-up training by congressional staffers and former members of Congress on budgeting and constituent outreach. Training by International Republican Institute for all 58 National Assembly members increased their fulfillment of legislative responsibilities and understanding of media, anti-corruption budgeting, disability rights, strategic communication, bill drafting, and audit review. The International Republican Institute trained the Committee on Defense and Security, Education Committee, Finance and Public Accounts Committee, Public Enterprise Committee, Monitoring of Government Projects, Local Government Committee, Human Rights and Constitutional Matters, and the Tourism, Youth and Sports on standing orders. This bill review, holding hearings, record keeping, citizens engagement, and budgeting. These trainings have led to the more effective scrutinization of bills sent from the executive and contributed to breaking the routine robust term practice of legislature. With International Republican Institute, the West Coast region and Upper River region, caucuses developed and implemented strategic plans leading to the organization of 31 constituency town hall meetings. International Republican Institute also initiated the creation of the Parliamentary Women Caucus after training on gender-responsive budgeting. A study tour to Ghana led by International Republican Institute for the Standing Committee of Finance and Public Accounts Committee and the Public Enterprise Committee sparked improvement to the National Assembly Standing Committee, including opening committee hearings to the public and revising the budget timeline. The National Assembly Saturday Hour, a radio program pioneered by International Republican Institute, created a regular forum for members to update the public on legislative affairs and receive feedback from citizens. There were 3 private member bills that were drafted with International Republican Institute support from International Republican Institute to decriminalize sedition and establish gender quotas, and the National Assembly Service Authority. The International Republican Institute further developed a pocket guide for committee members, a training of trainers manual, gender issues reference checklist, and an advocacy reference manual for caucuses. The above indeed reiterate how much the National Assembly has benefited from the intervention of International Republican Institute in the Gambia. We are eternally grateful for this support and hope that this 6th legislature will from now on benefit such interventions in a bid to strengthen democracy. Our doors at the National Assembly will remain continually open to partner with work based on mutual respect and understanding. With this, I once again, on behalf of the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, extend gratitude for the support so far extended to look forward to a greater collaboration. I thank you all.
Honorable Sese, since joining Gambia, I've discovered that there are very few common names. Sese is one of them. There is Turai, there is Lamin. So it's a pleasure having you, and we appreciate your kind words. To wrap up this opening ceremony, we have presentation on the highlight of the activities that was conducted in the course of the implementation of this project, the GGRA. I think it's important we have this overview so that we're able to do a refresher. We've had both the IEC chair and the honorable member enumerate some of the impacts in their work and in their institutions. But I think we will just present, just highlights of what we were able to do and we were able to accomplish with this project. And to do this, we have Renee Travis, who is my colleague in IFES, who was able to join us from US to make this presentation. So please, let's welcome warmly Renee to make this presentation for us.
So as been mentioned, the GGRA program is implemented by IFAS and IRI through SEPS via funding by USAID. The program began in May of 2019 with a focus on inclusive multi-stakeholder constitutional reform efforts and supporting capacity building strengthening of electoral institutions. The GGRA program then received an extension so that we could continue our work through the 2021-2022 election period. And we provided technical support in areas such as voter education and mobilization, civil society engagement, voter registration, support on election observation, training and capacity building of the IEC, and continuing support toward electoral reforms. So there are 4 key components of the GGRA program. The 4 components are: the constitutional review process is more inclusive due to greater multi-stakeholder engagement, that Gambian stakeholders reach consensus on comprehensive, inclusive regulatory reforms on the electoral process, that support is provided to the IEC to implement strategic and operational plans and electoral reform, and 4th one that was added after the pandemic started, supporting improved public awareness and effective response to COVID-19, which was supported by IRI underneath the GGRA. The GGRA, as the ambassador also noted, the GGRA supported inclusive constitutional reform efforts by engaging with a wide range of stakeholders during the drafting process of the Constitution. And after the rejection of the Constitution, the GGRA continued to provide technical assistance to various key pieces of legislation. One effort that we wanted to spotlight during this presentation was inclusive reform efforts with the Women's Reservation Bill. So under the GGRA project, there was overall an assessment done, a gender assessment, to analyze barriers to women's participation in elections across multiple facets. And underneath the program, IRI worked to develop options for the implementation of the Women's Reservation Bill, which was designed by IRI, which built in support among key election stakeholders, leading to its gazetting in July of 2021. Ultimately, IRI assisted the CSO gender platform to draft the bill, which would reserve 14 seats for women and 2 for persons with disabilities in the National Assembly. And if you could see my PowerPoint, you'd see a lovely picture of the CSO gender platform and their engagements on that. Another thing that we wanted to spotlight regarding the engagement between the National Assembly members and its citizens on constitutional reform. There is a need for a platform to increase engagement between the National Assembly members and citizens during the ongoing collaborative constitutional review process. In 2020, IRI conducted 51 radio programs across 5 regions, 15 of which were what is called the National Assembly Saturday Hours, NASH programs. And IRI also held a series of constituency outreach events, which they termed virtual town halls with the National Assembly, which took place via Facebook Live. And as an impact of those National Assembly Saturday hour programs is that there was 137 callers who were directly able to call into those radio programs. And via the virtual town halls, there was also constructive dialogue that was able to take place in the provisions in the draft Constitution. And through these methods, and under the GGRA program, IRI was very successful in making sure that there was a collaborative process on the constitutional reform processes. Moving on to talking about support to electoral institutions, this was a lot of IFAS's work, particularly with the IEC. As the chairman kindly mentioned, IFAS provided technical assistance to the IEC across many facets, including the support to the development and finalization of the Strategic Plan 2020-2024, and also supported operational plan development, including an operational plan that was built out on voter registration, which was utilized in the most recent voter registration period. IFAS supported capacity building through many facets, including bridge trainings with the Commission in critical areas of identified need, including 2 on voter registration across the course of the program, 1 on election days management, and then also provided executive leadership training to the Commission and support on strategic and crisis communication training that was built out after the conduct of the leadership training identified strategic and crisis communication as an area of need. IFAS additionally provided technical assistance to the IEC on the development of regulations around timely priority areas, most recently regarding candidate nomination ahead of the presidential election in the fall of 2021. Delving a bit deeper into Spotlight, IFAS's support to the IEC on voter registration, This is something that under the GGRA program was able to take place over quite a long period of time, which is one of the true successes of the GGRA program. Under the program in the strategic plan, which IFAS helped develop, voter registration and inculcating a culture of planning was really part of the GGRA program and part of the support that IFAS provided. After the voter registration was included in the strategic plan, it outlines a series of steps in order to build capacity in this critical area, including an IFAS-supported bridge with the IEC on the voter registration, and developed the IEC operational plan on voter registration. One key success that also came out of the operational plan was the development of the voter registration staff training manual. You'll see that there's kind of the image of the cover there on the top right of the screen, and this voter registration staff training manual was developed in coordination with IFAS and was then shared and distributed throughout the Gambia so that there could be an increased level of professionalism during the voter registration process. IFAS also supported a training of at least 678 individuals using the voter registration training manual, which was then done before the voter registration process, leading to an increased professionalism amongst that process. Moving on to spotlight one of the areas of collaboration, and something that the chairman kindly mentioned also, and also the ambassador, is the voter education efforts that took place around the December 2021 elections. This is an area where IRI and IFAS work to provide complementary support. So IRI conducted civic and voter education campaigns around the 7 administration regions around the Gambia, including with 4 partner civil society organizations conducted in local markets and schools and universities, and via both traditional and multimedia and social media campaigns, which reached more than 300,000 citizens. IFAS in turn worked with the IEC to develop inclusive public radio service announcements and also billboard messages, which were put up around the Gambia to make sure that those people who are in traditionally marginalized populations, women, youth, persons with disabilities, could be reached via the voter education messaging in the critical pre-election period to make sure that they would come out and vote. And that ultimately reached 650,424 individuals. So just to delve a bit deeper into the inclusive voter education campaigns developed by IFAS in partnership with the IEC, there's traditionally been a lower engagement of traditionally marginalized populations in the elections. And so to combat this, IFAS engaged with local partners to develop data-driven civic and voter education messages that were message tested and also approved by the IEC, so that these messages could be shared via radio stations, including these 4 PSAs via 3 urban radio stations and 12 community radio stations. We were able to have a really wide impact with these and got very good feedback from partners, so very excited. And I know my colleague Lamine Lai, who led IFAS's program for many years here in Gambia, wasn't able to be here, so I had to include him in this picture. So that's him on the bottom right in front of one of the billboards that IFAS helped produce for the IEC, encouraging people to come out and vote. Moving on to spotlight some of IRI's work with countering dis and misinformation to increase COVID-19 vaccine confidence. As you all know, which is an issue globally, there was a lot of disinformation and misinformation regarding COVID-19 vaccinations. And in Gambia specifically, there was generally an environment of low trust in vaccines and general perceptions that vaccines weren't effective. So IRI worked in partnership with the Sahel Film Academy to reorient Gambians by supporting an education campaign on COVID-19 risk management, which was done in collaboration with the National COVID-19 Risk Management Team at the Ministry of Health. 100 videos were produced, ultimately reaching more than 800,000 individuals to work toward increasing vaccine uptake in the Gambia. And that's a little infographic of one of the messages that was shared during that program. Quickly to go into GGRA by the numbers. These numbers aren't fully final, but so far, GGRA has been able to reach over 1 million individuals with voter education campaign between the programming by IFAS and IRI. There were 67 journalists trained in the pre-election period to encourage accurate reporting on elections and combat misinformation, and 500 code of conduct shared on election reporting, 510 radio programs, at least 800,000 citizens interacting with COVID-19 response effort information, 10 CSOs and media institutions trained on advancing respect for freedom of expression and countering mis and disinformation, 748 election officials trained across the course of the program, and 9 large multi-stakeholder consensus building forums that were held. Moving swiftly into the areas for potential continued support, these are touching on some of the issues that have just been discussed even in these opening remarks, and we hope to hear more on this topic from you all today as well. We feel that there is a need to revisit the constitutional amendment process and re-engage with key stakeholders, such as National Assembly members and the IEC on this. As you all are very well aware, the local government elections are coming up in 2023, which provides a clear time for testing and moving forward with other programmatic support activities, including increasing women's participation and participation of all marginalized populations, and supporting civil society and continuing assistance to the IEC in priority technical areas and capacity building, so that we can really build on the good work that the GGRA program has done and move forward with providing support to the Gambian stakeholders. So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you all for your attention, and thank you all for being here today.
To the end of the opening ceremony, I want to thank you most sincerely, Your Excellencies, for taking time to join us. I think there has been tremendous successes recorded from the implementation of the GGRA, and Madam Ambassador, there are requests for I have seen both the IEC chair and even the deputy majority leader of the National Assembly making passionate plea for continuing support. And I think, like we always say, democracy itself is a process. So in as much as we continue to support, it will continue to consolidate. So this appeal comes not only to us, but it also goes to the embassy. And I see Madam Ambassador nodding her head, which for me is affirmation, an affirmation that there will be some consideration in this regard. Thank you very much. Please, we'll make our way to have group photographs.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Assalamualaikum. Askani adina, askani Gambia, askani diaspora. Xam nga bu ma nee askani Gambia adina sax wax naa yëpp ba pare nan lañ rek leen doon toogal hankañ ñor na waaw the plus xam ngeen ne yàgg ngeen a dégg the plus in skincare plus is already here finally egsi na hankañ suñ plus bi egsi na moo nekk ni ñu ngi lañ ko amal fii ci diggi Manjai highway Manjai Kotu highway fa lañ ibbi di plus mooy lan mooy the extras in skincare plus suñ cuuraay gerte yi suñ araw yi suñ mbaxal yi suñ jën yi suñ suulaale yi suñ nokkas yi hankañ indil lañ leen ko fii ci diggi Manjai ne ko fii comme ni ma ko doy waxee rek ne ko fii para caca caac hankañ waa diaspora bi xam ngeen ne ci noppal ren rek lañ nekk boo tukkee ñëw Gambia fee. You can party all that you want. We got you. Wow. Boo toogee ba dernier moment pare pour dem daagul rek ñëw D plus bu ko defee ñu packagé la li nga bëgg a yëpp muy araw muy cuuraay gerte muy suñ mbaxali Saalum boobee suñ kereng kiisoo bi yooyu noonu yëpp amal nañ leen ko fii waa Gambia tamit nag xam nga rek the working women we want to make life easy for you. Our mbaxal is pre-made baxal sa maalo rek even bachelor si sax boo amee rek sa rice cooker baxal sa maalo rek teg sa mbaxal rek axankañ mbaxali Saalum laa wax de axankañ Charles fa lay waxee bu loolu passé amal nañ leen nag suñ own freezing system fu mu nekk nii suñ freezer bee nekk nii dañ laa jaay ba pare bu la neexee ñu freezer la axankañ paquetel la emuñ foofu rek sax boo bëggee ñu wéyal la yëpp yóbbul la ko ba airport waaye yéen lii ngeen ne lan xanaa lan comme ni ma ko dee waxee rek xanaa neex waaw suma partenaires yi rek ñoo nekk ni ki mooy Aïda boo lañ fi ñëwee boo lañ ma fi fekku tey ndegam manque di jaabante rek mun ngeen fee fekk Aïda mbaate mun ngeen fee fekk it rakki Aïda kañ ki mooy caat moo ngi nii waaw suñ plus gaa ngi nii fii nii waaw suñ fii mooy area bi nga xamante ni fa la ñoo defaree package suñ araw yeeg suñ all those kind of stuff moo nekk ni ñu ngi ci préparation nag pare nguñ we not quite ready but we almost there loolu bu passé we have another work area fii na am meat cutting unit fish and meat cutting unit nga xam ne boo indi sa jën bugg ñu dogal la ko in lions nice pieces machine boobu dina nekkee fii nga xam ne nañ leen bugg di dogal ñaari raxasookaay nag lañ am. This is one work area and that one is another work area parce que comme ni ngeen ko mus di xamee rek lépp loo xam ne luy dugg ci biir la dama make sure ne defar naa ko ci anam bu aw yoon nag parce que comme niñ ko lay waxee rek biir nag dafa lëndëm nag lu faa war a dugg war nañoo xam exactly naka la fa taajoo waaw suñ freezing unit bi nag neen xaaral nag ma boole si sax lan macha allah bam na ñetti yoon 2 hours ago rek lañ ñu indil ay waas believe it or not the wasis are frozen solid already waaw dugal nañ ko ci biir du ma ko génnee sax di ci xam nga taxal suma loxo yeeg yooyu noonu waaye it on point freezes in no time waaw xankañ bi mooy D plus so bu ca kanamee dinañ dem ci beneen doom bu ees bi waaw dama wasin ay siix waaw twin businesses fii mooy the plus so ci kanam tuuti dinañ dem to the next one bu ko defee ñu wax leen boobu tamit mooy ban ak naka la fa taajoo
Agada di.
Mbijano aganyani.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyinji.
Okay. Important. Nsila ID soto.
Sa soto. Sorry. Agada di.
Mbijano bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka.
Mbare.
Mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Janno mi yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere. Birim koyna fo katon.
Bari si kodo kino katon ni fo bolong blabe ko.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam. Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol. Nka kodo kiya bere. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto ni kodi maraw. Jannom number 1 di nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale le dadi mani domorol di fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ma fa kendol sotale je.
Wo moyo diat.
Apelenta
barka. Ni ma lafta nyelen kendol e binaji.
Yalo bukani la ko la barka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Barka.